Hello everyone, let's see, am I focused right? Yeah, that looks about right. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Today we're actually going to be doing something a little bit special. If you've seen part of my videos, I was doing a series on updating the precons. One of them was the Boros Knights. So that one came up a little bit iffy if I were to say anything. The fact that we're not going to get any new knights in the future is a bit questionable. However, I did get a very interesting response. Actually, in my Facebook feed, hold on, let me try to bring that up so I can share it with everyone. One of my viewers, Tim Sopkak, if let's see, I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong, but he did offer something that's very interesting. Offered a list. It's Mardu, which I kind of expected is gonna be the way to do knights if you're gonna go out about it. But surprisingly, it's not the one I expected. You don't get the red black menace knight that draws you cards. Surprisingly, he decided to cut the Black Lance Paragon in the long run. In fact, it's actually a very interesting hybrid. It's a mix of knights, adventures, and Winota. Okay, I'll be honest. It's really a bit of a shock at first, but I'm still very intrigued. I asked I asked for his permission. He actually said that he went through multiple changes. I'm actually looking at my own timeline right now. I have no idea why, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get the comment he shared with me. Or you know what? Let's skip to the more important part. Let's go jump straight to the deck list. Let's see if I can get that right. It's been quite a while since I did that. Oh, there you go. So here's the deck list that he submitted. So I did say there was Winota, so here you got 4 copies of Winota here. We got let's see, our main top end is like 1 Haktos, 1 Kenrit, 1 Sir Alan. Though this one is a bit of a, if I remember Sir Alan correctly, this is an attack trigger, so doesn't exactly combo well with Winota, but I'm still interested in this. Otherwise, you have to note that a lot of the other knights are not human. Rimrock Knight's dwarf, Falmar Knight's a zombie, Murderous Rider is a zombie. Everything else is a human, so we do have a good mix of humans and non-humans. Also note, Kuronos is not a human, and it's actually a very interesting way. We're not exactly getting our own creatures back, so messing with our opponent's strategies. I believe Kuronos would have a room eventually, so this is probably it. Also of note, 4 copies of Lucky Clover, 2 copies of Embercleave, 2 copies of Glorious Anthem. His mana base is a bit on the sparse side. Indata Triomes and a lot of basics. I would have expected at least Tournament Grounds, but considering that Winota's not a knight, Kuronos is not a knight, Kenrit, I believe, is not a knight. So those are kind of out of contention. And Haktos is also not a knight. I personally would rather just cut the Haktos and add the Tournament Grounds. I definitely would not add a ton of temples here. Sure, I guess a few temples. I probably would just add Fabled Passage maybe, but I definitely feel like this many basics with lots of double mana costs along the way. Well, a lot of them are basically single, so it should be fine. Anyway, what we should probably do is actually just give it a try as is. Actually, there's quite a bit of a story here. There's a lot of there's been a lot of changes that went through. Tim asked me to do a check on at least one other change, and so he sent me a revision list. I'll walk through that revision as we change the deck list. But you know what? Enough talk. Let's give this one a shot. I'm going to put this through standard 2021 play because I generally am not feeling confident putting my rank at risk here. So standard 2021 play. So we're gonna put through the original list of, hold on, yeah, Tim Sopkak's knights. So we'll do a few demo runs with this. We'll see how things turn out. Oh yeah, I probably should also later I probably should add him. He also gave me his ID tag. I'll type it off screen, but I probably should check if he's up and about. So we got a turn 2 Lucky Clover, which is great. Although this is not regular Teamer Knights, I'm definitely keeping this though. I also think our friend might have misspelled it. It's supposed to be Zaga Triumph. Now that I look at it, yeah, you know what? It's a good thing we're gonna auto concede this one. That's that is probably an obvious. That's probably a very big mistake. Let's fix that first. Yeah, all the Triumphs, we're not exactly going to get used to them as names. If they called it Mardu Triumph and Abzan Triumph, I would have noticed the mistake immediately. So let's correct those lands. So oh, it's Savai Triumph. I even got it wrong also. Okay, so put 3. I actually want to put 4 copies. This is 24 lander, right? Yeah, it's a 24 lander. I feel like I want to put the 4th copy in, but let's respect the deck. We'll put 3 copies first. We'll see if we can actually afford to run into the 4th copy. But definitely, it's not in data. It's a Triumph. I think he might have left a note about that also. Actually, we had a huge message string on this. Yeah, I should try to look for that message link also while I'm at it. So, okay. Triumph, Mountain. So, we're not going to be able to cast Kuronos turn 3. We're not going to be able to cast Murderous Rider. I actually feel like I want to mulligan this. This is really the problem with a lot of these. We're not exactly casting... We might cast some of these in turn 2, but not all of them. I really feel like there should be a full place of Fabled Passage because of that. Let's give this a mulligan. Okay, we have an Order of Midnight and a Murderous Rider. I'll keep it at that. We will bin the Kenrit. Actually, might want to bin the Acclaimed Contender instead. Yeah, I actually want to bin the Acclaimed Contender. No, we'll bin the Kenrit for now. But yeah, the mana base is already very big question. Like, don't underestimate don't assume that just because you have an even mix that you're gonna get an even mix altogether. Yeah, at least we hit red. I feel like casting Order of Midnight now. We're not exactly buying this back immediately. Acclaimed Contender maybe. And we're not gonna really benefit off this. Opponent plays a dead weight, so that's fine. We're gonna take 3 damage. We'll just take an additional 2. Yeah, the mana base is very something. It's very something I don't feel comfortable. Now I could have just mulliganed to 5. Now this is okay. We hit our Winota, but we didn't exactly hit anything else. That said, I will still play Murderous Rider first. If our opponent has the Mare's Grasp, so be it. Has the Mare's Grasp. I could just has the Mare's Grasp. Alternately, I could have just played a Acclaimed Contender, take out the Mare's Grasp that way. Yeah, this is not an attack trigger. Yeah, this is an attack trigger, so this doesn't really work. So we got a ton of humans and nothing to do with it. So you know what? I'll play Order of Midnight again. I'm not gonna cycle it around because we're in a desperate situation. I'll go Acclaimed Contender. Let's see what we can dig up. Does our opponent have this figure? Is that M21? No, Murderous Rider is it. Okay. That's actually fine, I guess. Opponent does hit 6 mana. Hits lure. Okay, this is over already. Yeah, the mana is a huge question. And has another. Oh yeah, no, that's not another Mare's Grasp. That one came from the graveyard. Literally, too much interaction, but not enough removal. We did draw the Embercleave. Winota's not gonna do anything at this rate. It's just gonna eat multiple pieces of removal. I'm gonna concede it at this point. I'm gonna still give it one more shot. that was not a fair hand. It was very the mana was really mixed, but just because you can get the mana to work for you does not mean it's gonna work for everyone. You really have, especially if you're running a 3-color deck, you want to give yourself the best chance to get the lands you want. If it means running for Fabled Passage, you should run for Fabled Passage. If it means 4 Savai Triumphs, 4 Savai Triumphs. If it means running Temples, no, that one is the question mark also. From the looks of it, actually based on how I should actually do a balance check also. Okay, this one is relatively better. We have a turn 2 Swordmaster into an Acclaimed Contender. We can also do turn 1 Falmar Knight, but I want to save that for drawing a card. In fact, what we could do is turn 2 Swordmaster. Timur chosen from that. Yeah, the lack of removal is questionable. Yeah, I think this is a case of like it's trying to do too many things at once. It wants to get the adventures, sure. It wants to get the Winota, sure. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like you want to choose one or the other, but not both. We'll give Kuronos a try, but I'm not convinced. If our opponent's running Deadweight, they're also running Mars Grasp. If we can somehow get this to stick, we're also not gonna block here. But I don't think it matters if our opponent Murderous Riders it. So yeah, without ways to generally the Winota style of deck is you want to produce creatures that are so cheap that it's not worth 1-for-1ing. So no. I'm gonna actually go out on the limb. We cannot afford to be 1-on-1 forever. We cannot afford to be hit 1-for-1 forever. I'm gonna just play 2 of these. I'm gonna run the Smith and Swordmaster, gain a little bit of life. If our opponent's running the deck like this, they will have to spend 2 pieces of individual removal. They don't, so they're gonna run the Timuret. They're gonna get themselves a zombie. I'm also not, as I said, I'm not gonna block. Opponent's probably not gonna attack either. Oh no, they'll attack. They'll take the hit. So we did hit our. We'll see if this works. We get 2 triggers. So we're looking for. Hacktoss is fine. Okay, we whiffed on the second one, so it's a good thing we tried for it. Opponent probably. I personally would have tried to block both. Because we now have a Hacktoss that can be blocked by Timuret and the Blacklands Paragon. Opponent might try to snipe Winota at this point because we do get the free trigger. Alternately, what I can do is Acclaimed Contender for something. Yeah, the problem is we have no way of protecting Winota, so to speak. Generally, the Winota deck, they will run cards like Selfless Savior. So, with so much mana to hit, okay, we'll go Smith and Swordmaster first. Because if I remember the artifact, if I remember the equipment list, it's literally just Embercleave. So we're actually aiming for another knight at this point. By doing this, we're less likely to get blanked out on one. Opponent's going for that. Yeah, I think the meta has shifted a lot since our opponent. We're definitely taking the Murderous Rider. Now, we have to attack with this, so Blacklands Paragon's gonna eat it. So I'm gonna swing with both. Just clear the board. So next turn our opponent. This is okay, so just gets a scry 1, gain 1 life. Okay, that's fine. So as far as it goes, we did get one good Winota swing. I think we should concentrate on one or the other. There's really no room for both. You're just rolling the dice that, okay, I will be able to get plan A, or I will be able to get plan B. But what happens if you get half of A and half of B and they don't match? Opponent's now unloading Murderous Rider, so this last card could easily be a Grey Merchant. If you're running Timurit, you're generally running Grey Merchant. So I'm actually gonna swing with all three. We'll see how our opponent blocks. Opponent's probably gonna start chump blocking some of these others, which allows us to get the Rimrock Knight down. They will get their life back, that's kind of assumed. But we really need to clear that board. And at least that way, if our opponent does have Grey Merchant, we're not staring down... We're only staring down 4 life. Opponent goes Mogus's favor, going for the lifelink plan, which makes sense. They take us down to 8, they go back up to 12. We might be able to take them down to... No, another 10. We can play Murderous Rider to... We can play Murderous Rider, at least. Okay, now we're flooded. So we're kind of giving up the Rimrock Knight, but it's not like it's gonna block anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this land. Our opponent did demonstrate an agonizing remorse, so if I can convince our opponent to say cast 1 offhand, it will drain them 1 life. It's still a thing. We're definitely holding the Murderous Rider to our Murderous Rider to block their Rider. Sure, they gain a whole ton of life, but takes it off the board, convinces our opponent to maybe start eating their stuff just to... Well, they'll only do 1 anyway to buff it. We might have something in response, but we're now living off the top of our deck. So is our opponent, but we'll see if we can get that 1 point of no, we're flooded. I'm actually gonna hold back. There's really no way our opponent's gonna trade these two when our opponent has literally 3 that. Hateful Eidolon. Now if he does swing it, he could actually put the other Mogus on top, just draw cards. Yeah, he's just gonna draw cards. Which, yeah, so at least we didn't have to trade in advance, but now we're gonna be... Yeah, we're now staring down removal. Oh wow, the flood is real, guys. Yeah, sincerely, the lack of removal is really an issue here. What does our opponent have for removal? Or no, what does the deck have for removal? If I'm not mistaken, no, it's literally just the Murderous Riders. The Foul Mar Knight kind of counts, but seriously, if I have to make a change, I would probably drop one or the other. I kind of like the Winota part more. I'm willing to hold this in case I draw into another acclaimed contender. We do have 2 more copies. On the other hand, let's see, do they have... No, they still have a ton of enchantments and creatures, so... I don't like any of this, actually. We'll just block. Give our opponent the card. 2 cards, actually. And yeah, we can concede at this point. Rimrock Knight's not gonna block. So... Sorry, Tim. I'm actually curious about how you... about how it performed for you. Because right now, it's not looking great for me. I'm actually gonna take a look at that revision note. I think that's probably a better idea. Because right now, sure, it's only 2 games. It's not enough. Okay. 1 Haktos, 4 Winota, 4 Lucky Clover, 3 Order of Midnight. Okay, got the Savaitrime correct this time. More Ember Cleave. Okay, the problem really is the mana base. Actually, looking over the latest version, I think it's the same as this one. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one more, see if actually, you know what, we're actually gonna make two different versions for this one. Going to we're going to go in with one or the other. We really cannot do both because all of them are elemental parts. Like for example, the 4 lucky clovers are only good if you draw the adventure knights. The Winota is only good if you draw the non-human creatures. Then there's actually no knight synergy anymore. Okay, so what are the basic cuts? One, Sir Alan, because this is a non-bow with Winota. This is not a free trigger. In fact, you might be better off going. In fact, the original plan here, it was really more knight based. I think that might be a better fit. Like if you like tutoring up an inspiring veteran is not the worst thing if you have enough knights. In fact, now that we're at it, let's go look over knights. What are our options? Now our opponent went mostly black, so if that's the case, we need to cut down the white a bit, which probably means we're actually going to cut down the glorious ant. No, I don't want to cut. So we need to look for knights that are not human. We're not going to find them in white. And we're making the standard 2021, so unfortunately, a lot of our options are gone too. Like Blacklands Paragon's a human, but this is something that we're okay putting in. This was in the original list, so I'm okay putting that in. Actually, yeah, the Acclaim Contender, it's really to get more knights. With that one is fine. I'm willing to run that for now. So we're looking for zombie knights, goblin knights, dwarf knights. In fact, I think we just have a lot of trees. So let's say we run the Rimrock Knight. The caveat with this one is, unless you have an early play like turn 2 Order of Midnight or Smith and Swordmaster, we're not gonna get it done. So Stormfist Crusader, this is the one I expected. This one is a human. Inspiring Veteran is a human. Let's cut the cards that don't impact the board immediately. Like, I get the idea. Double Order of Midnight's nice. Double Falmar Knight is nice. Double Smith and Swordmaster is really busted. But these cards are just fine without the Lucky Clover. What you actually want to hit are your Hacktoss, your Kenrit. Actually, that's a question. What? Whenever it attacks another target creature, this has Death Touch, so this is another way to get it through. There's a Oathsworn Knight, which actually kind of survives. Liliana's Standard Bearer is a zombie knight. Also, the list originally had Fervent Champion as well. So what we're going to do is we need to buff our aggro board here, and we also need to lean the deck towards 2 colors and away from 1 color. Right now, it's looking like white is the questionable one. So 4 Fervent Champion, 4 Falmar Knight, because those are okay at 1. 2 Order of Midnight's fine, though even this one I'm willing to cut. Let's bump the Rimrock Knight. Basically, let's bump every knight that is not human, because we want those to trigger Winota. I'm willing to add Standard Bearer. This one's an interesting trick. We trade some creatures off, we get to draw cards back. Though I want to also add the 3rd Ember Cleave for now, because this was also originally in the list. So now the question is, 18 of our 33 creatures are human. That's about more than half. We kind of want to be less than half, though we do sometimes whiff. I might cut 1 Kuronos for that reason. Basically, if we're going to cut stuff, it's going to be stuff with white. I'm okay with Kenrit. Want to double up on Hacktoss just as a test? Because what's a very good human that's preferably a knight that we could hit? And actually, with this curve, yeah, we still need to balance this out. Okay, let's run it with 2 Ember Cleaves, let's run it this way. Okay, let's actually cut down the Inspiring Veteran. We probably don't want to hit too many of those. Do I want to just dub... Because the Smith and Swordmaster, you wants you to have a board full of this. Yeah, unfortunately, like say what? Our Skeleton Knight? No, just an Elf Knight, that's interesting. Actually, with this many knights now, like how many knights do we have here? We got 25 knights, 19 humans. We can afford to run the tournament grounds now. Emperor Skyblazer. As long as it's your... Wait, oh yeah, I remember this one from the... It's from the Planeswalker decks, if I'm not mistaken. Well, paying 3 mana for a +1/+0, that's probably no. We could try a Sir Conrad, but that one's gonna be awfully weird. Let's try single Standard Bearer. Just give it a try. Then we'll do a suggest lands testing. Yes, it's shifted now. It's now 588. Now, since we also know that we are kind of leaning more on turn 1, but we can afford not to run it on turn 1. So what we can do is now 4 Fabled Passage to make sure we hit the cards we want. I'm willing to... We can eat... Then I'm willing to keep the Savai Triome. Do I want to run tournament grounds? Let's run 3 of these. This one's just a test. We're going to test this out. So quite a significant list of changes, if I may say so. That said, there are some things that we did not quite address. We did not address the removal issue. In fact, we're still kind of all aggro. If this still doesn't pan out, another thing we can do is Bone Crusher Giant. That is still another thing for Winota. We have to consider that we are just running a lot of aggro, but we have no way to respond to our opponent. So, other than Murderous Rider, and that's actually it's good, it's efficient, it's relatively painful, but it's still okay. Yeah, leaning into the Adventure team, I think that one's kind of more of a basic. Okay, so here's what we got. We got Fervent Champion, which we can Rimrock Knight and play a Fabled Passage into. Next turn, we have an Acclaimed Contender as an option. Or I'll be... So I'm willing to just run... We can drop the Tournament Grounds last. Opponent's playing Gilded Goose, so... Let's pick our opponent. Okay, we have Foulmire Knight as an option, but we'll save that in the back end. Now, we know that we need actual black mana, but at least we can do that with Fabled Passage. The double red we can get off Tournament Ground, since that also affects equipment. So, given that, I'm actually gonna play the Fabled Passage first. Nessian Horn Beetle. Now, this is an interesting one. If I sack this for black, I won't be able to get the double red. Probably should just play the Tournament Grounds. We could also just play the Knight as is. No, let's stick to our guns for this one. We'll play that. So we drew the Winota, so at least we have the red and white. This probably might bait removal, or our opponent's just about to drop a huge creature. Yep, this is super large mono red, so mono green, so there's a Questing Beast. So we're taking 7. Oh, this is actually a non-bow. We can't swing into this either. So no attacks. We actually have to cast these Foulmire Knights. Which is actually fine because we only need these to have a power of... We only need this to have a power of 3 or greater. Now our opponent could say ram through one of them right now, but they'll save us the other one. The only caveat is, okay, no, goes for the Garruk's Uprising, so we'll still take quite a bit of damage. Am I willing to take 6 damage? Okay, opponent's not, so I have to do the Rimrock Knight now first. So we will get one trigger off Winota, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna actually drop the Winota now. Swing with the Falmar Knight. If our opponent wants to trade their Horn Beetle, it's fine. We are hitting Hack Toss. X equals 3, so none of these guys can block. Okay, so this is working better now. Opponent probably wants to take out... If they take out Winota, we have the backup Winota. I really want to drop the Rimrock Knight soon, but doesn't quite have haste. Opponent goes Lovestruck Beast. The Lovestruck Beast will trade with Hack Toss, which is fine. We... Yeah, we're just gonna trade these completely because we do have the backup Winota. So we hit Smitten Swordmaster, Fervent Champion. Yeah, there's probably a caveat to running the lower knights. I might actually cut some of these human knights in response. You really should block Hack Toss. That's pretty much... Yeah, get it over with. So we're not getting any more Winota triggers until we can hit the Rimrock Knight. Yorvo Garandrig. Does our opponent have another creature? Probably. Okay, Scavenging Ooze. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the math is interesting. To take out the 5/5, like I have to play the Rimrock Knight now. I can't. Oh, I should attack. Well, no, it doesn't matter. I only had 2 red anyway, so I'm gonna pass. So Smitten Swordmaster probably blocks Scavenging Ooze if they buff it by Gem Razor. Oh wow, that's a 9. That's a 9 and a 10 actually. So we definitely have to. Not panning out. That's 10 damage we're staring at. Opponent could pump one of these into a 3/3. I'm hoping it attacks with both. You know what? Let's just take it. Unless we hit removal, we're not gonna get out of it anyway. Yeah, we hit another land. I suppose I can play Acclaim Contender. Hold on. Let's see if we actually hit Embercleave. I don't know if this works because... Okay, we did not hit Embercleave, so we do get a Curry Favor as an option. Probably should have cast that first. I know some of our guys are gonna go. Okay, we actually whiffed on Winota, so that's a problem too. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Our opponent has to block. Okay. Oh, and we can't cast Smitten Swordmaster this way because we actually tapped the blackout. I should have tapped this one and just kept this one up. I wasn't expecting to get this though. I was aiming for an Embercleave and I kind of whiffed on that one. That's still not enough. We're gonna get run over by a Gem Razor. Yeah, we are lacking interaction. You're the deck is still trying to do too many things. Yeah, that's a good game. We're gonna get hit for... I could play this one, but it would still put us exactly at 6. That was close though. A bit closer than I wanted. We really need to have good... Oh, you know what? Okay, we know the Fervent Champions are not exactly good hits. There's another plan. I did mention we have problems keep getting our creatures to stick. Although if we do this, it means we probably should lean... Oh, well, we kind of want this. We lean away from red instead and lean more towards white. It gives us removal as an option. Yeah, we probably have to cut more of these. We need more aggressive knights. I guess that means the Winota plan is not gonna pan out at all. Which is kind of weird to say, because that's pretty much what Tim was really excited about. It's really knights plus Winota. All the... Well, no, there was one yeah, yeah, it really started out as with Winota. So it's really knights plus Winota. That was pretty much the part. So the Lucky Clover was the addition that I take issue with. So here we have a Winota, but no non-humans to trigger. And our opponent has a Love Struck Beast turn 1, so... As far as the meta is concerned, this really doesn't feel like it's working. Okay, this is green-red also, so this might be an issue. We could expect things like Stomp. Or this is Teamer Adventures. Probably the worst matchup I can expect. But so far our opponent is playing it soft. No, I could have held this back, but I really want to encourage our opponent to trade. Our opponent's about to drop a 5/5 and draw card. So actually what I can do is... we can use the Fervent Champion to chump block the Love Struck Beast. Basically, I'm... Okay, Beanstalk Giant. So thank goodness we hit the... We hit the Teamer Adventures that missed out on the... This could also be Gruul Advent... Nope, it's Teamer. So we hit the Teamer Adventures. This could be a Lucky Cloak. Please no Stomp, because I really want that Rimrock Knight to stay. And this is our creatures that died. Oh, okay. I think our opponent was concerned about Blacklands Paragon, but no, we'll just do it that way instead. If our opponent has removal, that's fine. Okay, we hit our 4th mana. So we're basically sacrificing one creature to Lovestruck Beast. We might be sacrificing 2. Our opponent could also have Brazen Borrower. So no attacks. Opponent now wants to stomp these guys out into oblivion. So if I have to say something, yeah, too many things that have to work together, not exactly quite working. I think I want to explore the Liliana Standard Bearer as a way to draw cards though. I'm really curious about the matchup Tim was experiencing. He was very confident about this. Now, that said, let's try again. Our opponent probably just bounces again. Or starts stomping the board. Okay, there's a stomp. So we only get one trigger. Probably want more payoffs like Kenrick though. So at least we hit our Kenrick. We can actually start buying creatures back. I probably won't end up swinging with it, but we do have options. Opponent casts it straight. Our concern is we're about to see a 7/7, so I might Hunter's a duel too. Yeah, why not? You are running Teamer, so you might as well just run Uro while you're at it. But no, okay, we now have a 7/7 online, so probably hold up that Murderous Rider. Okay, there's our tournament grounds. All creatures gain trample and haste. Yeah, probably want to save up the double red just in case. So we can use this to gain life. Is there any creature that we want to get back instantly? Because one thing we can do is like... if I knew this was going to happen, I... Yep, so much for holding up for the 7/7, but this is a human noble, so not a knight. I have no way of protecting this as is. I can offer a Winota. Yeah, because this is tempting. Our opponent's gonna want to trade it. So let's pay red. Get that extra damage right now. Then, yeah, we could buy it back, but I'm not taking a risk. We're just gonna buy back regular. Then next turn we can probably play the Murderous Rider straight. Like, we're staring down an 8/8. Unless our opponent has a way to give trample. I'm actually more concerned about the Fae of Wishes that's inevitably gonna follow. Probably should have also saved this one because we're not getting Kenrit back by itself. Though the only good news is if our opponent wants to get rid of Kenrit, he has to dig for that removal. Because of the Luna by... Okay, that's... Oh, I actually forgot about that. That's 5 cards, so our opponent's still 1 card short. Yeah, so we made a mistake there. So that... yeah, swing with this. So we got Winota. I think the correct one to do this is we should make sure we hit that Kenrit. We should make sure we hit that Hacktoss. Opponent now has a Lucky Clover. I'm considering some more utility style adventures, but yeah. Okay, this is the part I'm scared of. The double Fae into a red cap melee that's guaranteed to snipe. Well, it could also snipe Winota, and we can't protect it. And Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 8 mana. So as soon as we play this, that's gonna hit. In fact, you know what? We're not gonna play it. We're gonna play a different game. You spent it on red cap melee, so I'm gonna force you to make good on it. Opponent plays a regular Fae of Wishes. Okay, now this is the part where their card draw is going to really take over. Opponent could also opt to just discard and cast another. Where they're actually holding back the Ugin, so we actually have to hold back the Murderous Rider. Not having more removal than this is an issue. Opponent escapes to the wilds. Again, still holding up red mana, so we're still not free to cast Winota. Yeah, we're lacking early pressure, which is kind of weird, but that's kind of how I feel right now. Okay, opponent swings for 1. Yeah, we're also flooding quite a bit. Yeah, the card draw is very important, as Tim mentioned. But if we're just literally drawing cards off that one, it's probably not enough. I'm going to swing with just these two. That should be enough to put a little extra. If our opponent decides to, say, cast a stomp and get it copied. Nope. Okay, that's fine. They could actually just bounce the Fae of Wishes. Okay, they're gonna... Well, they let me hit first, so that's kind of nice of them. Also, they don't have the blue anyway. They're really considering... I could just snipe my own just to prevent this from coming back, but... As far as I'm concerned... Yeah, our opponent doesn't need the Ugin anymore at this rate. Still tempting, but yeah. This is probably a case of trying to do too much. So we're gonna kind of rein this in a little bit more. We're gonna rein in on some of the adventure strategies. Though we probably have to also. I'm definitely gonna suggest the sideboard of Embret Shieldbreaker. You're going to see teamer adventures quite a lot. No questions asked. Actually, I'm gonna concede at this point. We're way behind. We can't even play Winota safely. Yeah, we need to have a way to protect Winota as well. So it's really getting that balance of creatures and human and non-human, which is there is that tension there because most of the good knights are humans. So what are the additional changes I'm willing to do? In my personal play experience, Acclaimed Contender was a weak spot, so I'm gonna sub that. Inspiring Veteran, something we want to hit. Order of Midnight, yeah, we probably should keep that up. I kind of want to hit that one too. We want to hit Kenrit. Kuronos, I get the idea for having Kuronos, but look, what do we have? 4, 8. Smith and Swordmaster should win out of nowhere. That's really the theory, but the practice is not really paying off though. Like if I hit it off Winota, what do I get? A 2/1 lifelink. It's really not exciting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bump up the exciting humans. So let's search for human. Let's see if there's any more broken humans that we missed out. I really want to add Containment Priest. This is really for the sacrifice shenanigans. Dranit Magistrate is something I would also add. I've been doing quite a bit of control recently, so there's that consideration. Boss Lieutenant is something I considered. It's a way to actually get advantage from your knights. Basically, it's a knight that makes more knights. Albeit we don't have the way to generate +1/+1 counters like... Yeah, that's a good question. Why are we not running Venerable Knight? Well, it is a human, so that's a bit... So we want our low-cost creatures to be non-human. We want our high-cost creatures to be human. I really want Sir Alan to work, but it's kind of not working here. Iron Commander doesn't work for that same reason. Yeah, let's keep the Order of Midnight as a backup because I only have one Kenrit actual. I never bothered to make a second Kenrit. Massacre Girl feels like a non-bow. We could literally wipe our board accidentally if we do this. Somehow not that many exciting humans. Well, there's General Kudro. If we're willing to shift all humans and drop the Winota plan, we can just run Kudro. There's General's Enforcer, which... It's not a knight, but it protects these guys. Let's try it like this. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to turn off the turn on the filters. Yeah, Fight as one is also something to consider. I probably should also put the... I'm gonna do this first before I decide to put the doggo, but we probably should. In fact, I'd probably just drop the Fervent Champions for the doggo, but let's save that for later. I really want to have Stormfist Crusader because that also draws cards. Wintermoor Commander kind of gives indestructible. Dire Tactics is a good way to get extra removal. Like, right now our removal is literally just Murderous Rider. We have the Embercleave strategy. I might be more willing to drop the Embercleave and go for... Well, let's drop the Inspiring Veteran first. That one... Because we're drifting further away from the Knights at this point. I might actually just do 2 Dire Tactics. 4 Selfless Savior. So we need to rebalance that mana again. More closer to a 4/5/5, so I might actually cut the tournament grounds, add another Survive Triome. So we're trying to see if we can get the 2 Haktos to hit. Hitting a General's Enforcer means that at least we can protect Winota and whatnot. And we can actually generate more creatures that way. I'm only running 2 of this. We're still running as many non-humans as possible. But we still have a good number of humans. So we probably could still hit something. I might just opt to cut 1 Rimrock Knight in favor of another General's Enforcer. So we're gonna go with that one. The Standard Bearer is still something I want to try out. I'm not sure if I want to try out. I'm still experimenting with this. It's kind of a way to draw cards. I also want to see if I want to test out Kudro, because even though we don't have that many... Oh, actually our humans are fewer now. Yeah, it's really more about Knights, so the Kudro is not going to work as a plan. Yeah, let's give this one more shot. Already spent quite a bit of time here. It's actually close to the hour mark. I have not actually won a single game yet, so we're still working on it. I really am trying out the concept. I'm not shy about it. It's just finding that perfect balance. But again, if you want to go adventures, you really should drop the Winota package. If you really want to go Winota, you should definitely drop the adventure package. Basically, it's a case of really doing too much. So at this point, what are the suggested changes? Actually, the main one is come to a decision. Choose a game plan and do it very well. You cannot afford to, for lack of a better term, half-ass both plans, because you won't even get the full ass out of that. So we're definitely gonna mulligan this one. We got our Selfless Saviors. Okay, we're definitely keeping this one. I kind of want to bin Winota. Yeah, I want to bin Winota for now. So we hit Fabled Passage, drop a land. If our opponent drops something significant, we Dire Tactics, if not, we General's Enforcer. So at least we have some removal options. We got an Order of Midnight to go with it. So we can actually, if we draw another land and we can actually... Okay. Opponent seems to be having some mana issues, so... Also, this is Ketria this is Teamer. So at this rate, I'm sniping the Gilded Goose. This could easily still be... I'm gonna drop the General's Enforcer. If our opponent... We won't be able to answer a Lucky Clover. But at the very least, if our opponent has to drop something big... Okay, Beanstalk Giant. So this is definitely adventures. We can at least start swinging with the General's Enforcer, and we can put up doubles. Another Gilded Goose. We did hit Winota. We did hit a Winota after all, but we are not hitting our non-humans, so that's the caveat. We can just drop this late though. So I want to force our opponent to answer the General's Enforcers. At least that way I can... Order of Midnight later. But at least a nice thing I know is if I drop Winota, it's not gonna die to a red cap melee. Opponent goes Uro. still building up their board state. We need to hit a land. We also want to hit a non-human. Probably the caveat. And they're only literally... Actually, these are my pairs. I literally have only 2 of these and 2 of these if I'm not mistaken. Okay, opponent making sure they don't accidentally block. That's fine. I probably could... Because my concern now is our opponent is about to drop... And this only exiles creatures. We really need to hit that Murderous Rider because this is about to be an Uro. I'm calling it now. This is an Uro. No, Genesis Ultimatum, which could still be an Uro. So this is actually not. This is actually a Genesis Ultimatum deck. Okay, so there are multiple triggers. We're about to lose these Generals Enforcers. The Uro's not gonna last though, so... Okay, he's gonna target that. Let's make sure all those targets land. We're gonna pay 3 life. At least we're not paying 7. So at least we got rid of that one. So unfortunately, our mana base is really messed up now. Yeah, I've never been until we get, like, say, the pathways are probably a better way to get those lands, but now we have to use Order of Midnight. So we need another black source. At the very least, we got rid of the Terror. Now we're just staring down the Bone Crusher. We hit a Hack Toss that we can't cast. Okay, we have to do this. We're buying 1 turn. Yeah, the mana is really a problem here. If we had hit any of our... I did cut the turn. Okay, this is... And another Uro. So we'll... Okay, we did hit at least. But Order of Midnight can't block, so we're gonna take 5 up in the air. Our opponent does have tripled this, so... Yeah, it's not gonna pan out. We're gonna take 5. Opponent plays another creature, we go down to... We go down. Yeah, that's it. We took way too much damage off that ultimatum. Our mana base really wrecked us. Let's try to get a hand where we have the optimal settings at least. We can run pathways at least. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that we have there. I know the red-white pathway is there. I'm trying to remember if the red-black pathway is there. If we do, we will try run that. I would lean the deck towards red, which means we add a lot of removal because we cannot just allow a deck. We cannot just allow a deck to do their own thing. Us doing our own thing, most of the time, it's not gonna pan out. It's really... Okay, so we can keep this one. We got turn 2 Generals Enforcer to turn 3 Kuronos. That's fine. 1 more land, we can turn 4 Winota. So this is literally the best I can ask for. Now, as to whether... We have to remember though. Sacrifice is still kind of valid, but not so much. The real problems are Adventures, Ramp, Uro, Kroxa to a certain degree. That's kind of why Kuronos is there, I suspect. Ugin. Your deck has to be fast enough to answer these things. And this one is self-mill. So this might be self-mill Uro. So at least the General's Enforcer can protect these two to a certain extent. Okay, we're now hitting our Fabled Passages. Which is fine, because turn 3 Kuronos, turn 4 Winota. We might not hit Haktos, we might just hit another regular human, but that's okay. Opponent goes for that. But let's assume our opponent hits 5. Oh, and the Radiant Fountain 2. But no follow-up. We definitely want to drop Kuronos. Which, if we can keep this alive, it locks this one out. Yeah, I guess that's why I want Selfless Savior. It's a doggo to protect the other doggo. Opponent's really looking at this now. He knows he has to get rid of Kuronos first, which buys us quite a bit of time. And if it's literally just straight green-blue, I don't think they have it. Yeah, they're just playing the Secret Keeper now. At least the Enforcer does... In fact, next turn, I might go for the safety play. I have to assume our opponent has to wait to bounce Kuronos out. So I'm not going to play Winota. I'm going to use General's Enforcer, exile this card. Just so I don't have to see it again. Because I have to assume our opponent has bounce. Yes, our opponent's looking at it. Definitely has bounce. We're getting the red anyway. Yeah, we did. Let's make sure that's not a problem anymore. Yeah, you really want the General's Enforcer to snipe this, snipe Ghost Rider. So... Now, this is human soldier, so no benefit from Winota. However, I still get to swing with this one. So this deck is really leaning more towards Winota with a little Knight synergy. Even then, I think we can start dropping some of the Knights altogether. Opponent did have the Brazen Borrower. As predicted. Opponent has Edgewall, Innkeeper. Probably plays the Brazen Borrower. Next turn, we Secret Keeper again, but think they're trying to mill an Uro. So draw a card. They're trying to get that Uro online. I know it. So question. So we got another Savai Triome. We can swing an Embercleave, but save that for later. Let's get the double red first. I probably should have played Savai Triomes. Because now that I think of it, I'm not going to be able to play multiples. So... we can't hit these. I'm still going to hit this one first. Now... let's assume our opponent does play Lovestruck Beast. We have enough mana to just hardcast an Embercleave. Hardcast an Embercleave on combat. Opponent goes for the Lovestruck Beast. Still has the option to bounce, so that's what I'm scared of. I'm also concerned about doing this because I will lose the Secret Keeper. Still does not mill another Uro. That's the good news. Still drawing cards. That's the not so great news. We do hit the Kenrit. In fact, Winota does nothing at this point now. I'm so tempted to just drop the Kenrit, but another consideration is... yeah, there's the Great Henge, Beanstalk Giant, so this is just green-blue adventures. Like, say, I would need to attack 3, I would be still left with 2 mana. Yeah, I made the mistake. I should have played the Savai Triome first last time. I would have had 6 mana. I would have been able to Embercleave and Liliana Standard Bearer. No, we have to snipe the Lovestruck Beast. Even if it's off the back of an Embercleave. So we'll see if it pays off or not. At least we know we have a Kenrit that we can use to return stuff later. We don't get to Winota, but at this point Winota is at the back burner at this point. Our opponent's very close to Ugin mana. That's really concerning me. Our opponent has a ton of 0-4s as well. They do hit the Lucky Clover. We have no way of sniping this up top. I could pay 3 mana just to re-equip here. Might get some blocks that way. I'm also concerned that I might need to hold up. Okay, we've got 7 mana now. The thing is, I need to hold up 4 mana in case our opponent drops an Uro. So if he tries to recast it... Wait, no. If they go to recast it immediately, I won't be able to do it. They will need to play an 8th land though because... Oh no, they can. They can still do it. So... we need to start building our board back. So we're literally gonna take our time, which is that probably sounds a bit antithetical, but we're gonna take that time to really buy back Kuronos. The Dark Tactics is still looking great, but we still have the Murderous Rider, so that's still an option. Basically, yeah, we're gonna buy the Kuronos again, lock up that graveyard. Like, I know this gives our opponent the window to drop Uro. I have no way around that. But an Embercleave on Kenrit is... okay. Yep, can't be helped. That's... and now we have to recast the General's Enforcer too. Yes, Lucky Clover is a problem. And then again, if this is... okay, nope. Fae of Wishes again. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're just not having quite a bit of luck. Yeah, we have so many cards that got stranded. Despite all the mana we have. We did have one minor victory, but unfortunately... yeah, opponent is going for Ugin for real. We have no real response to that. And a neutralize also. So we have to throw something away. So because this exiles, it doesn't, the indestructibility doesn't matter anymore. I'm gonna open with this first. See if this bites the neutralize. Yeah, the lack of interaction is really the one that's killing us. We're able to lock up our opponents from interacting, but we're not able to interact ourselves. At this point, it also means that because these cards are in our hand already, Winota is probably the weaker link. Like, we do have 6 mana though. I might be able to still drop a surprise standard bearer on the back at least. So we're gonna swing with this one. See if our opponent has a way to trade. Okay, at least we're trading Secret Keeper. Yeah, as much as I like Winota, the problem right now is we have a lot of anti-synergies. Okay, our opponent goes for the big Ugin. Probably just snipes this one, that's fine. Actually, we get to draw a card as a result. Thank you, opponent. So let's see if our opponent... Okay, opponent smartly attacks with just that. You get to draw a card, and neutralize is locked up. So there's a Falmar Knight. But first, let's get the important things out of the way, like that Ugin over there. Let's get rid of that. So we're trading this for a trigger, which gets us a General's Enforcer. So we kind of protected Winota that way, and okay, we might stand a chance now. Yeah, that's expected. So as long as we can protect our graveyard, we can Kenrith next turn. Am I gonna play the Falmar Knight? No. 5, 6, 7, 8. We can do a Kenrith into a Falmar Knight, or we can do a Kenrith into a Murderous Rider. But now our opponent's really digging for answers. We're just glad that they don't have red, but they can still bounce our stuff. Well, at least we don't need Winota that much anymore. She's still a good 4-4 beater. But what we can do now is, say, well, gain the 5 life right now is not gonna... I kind of want to have at least one land that taps for any color just to get the other stuff here. Opponent goes for Primal Knight. We'll need to snipe General's Enforcer for that. And a once in future to get Ugin back. I want to see who he snipes first. Because another thing we can do is we can just equip the Embercleave onto Winota. We still have a neutralize to worry about, but I suspect if our opponent is grabbing... This is an instant, okay. Opponent probably casts it now, though that invalidates their Primal Knight can still snipe our General's Enforcer. Which means we have to answer Ugin again. Opponent's really thinking this one through. I can't blame them. In fact, they have to consider that because... Yeah, they have to cast it. Oh, they're going for the bounce plan. Okay, so... If they don't play a land... I know I'm safe from neutralize, but the Lucky Clover can still get us. Hit another Falmar Knight. We will get only one Falmar Knight trigger if we do this. So I want to see how this pans out. I'm going to swing with everything anyway. I know our opponent's about to just drop the Lucky Clover. So I'm not going to swing a General's Enforcer anymore. Our opponent used up the once in future, so they're... Also, more importantly, we know they have no more counter spells. So I'm going to drop Kenrith. Drop the Murderous Rider. So next turn we can do a Winota drop, or we can just heck with it, swing with Kenrith, because our opponent needs to use the Primal. Okay, they now have 2 cards to discard. How many? They've gotten 4 cards off their sideboard already. They well, so they still have 11 more, but not all of them will be relevant to this matchup. Yeah, because our opponent's now literally tapping out for everything. Like, if our opponent wants to get rid of Kenrith, they need to kill the General's Enforcer. If our opponent wants to... So at least we got that sequence down. They have to follow a linear path for that. Okay. Discarded some stuff just to get it back. So, 1, 2, 3, 4... They have 3 mana left, so... They don't have a blue source, so if let's say they do the granted again. Okay, we take the 2 again. Because if our opponent just goes for the big Primal Knight, they probably should have done it earlier. Opponent holding back. Like, this is the only instant. So I can cast Winota just to... Yeah, counter that. Yeah, opponent tried to hold up way too much mana. I probably would swing with everything anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna equip the Ember Cleave for now because I might need the 5 life. I'm definitely gonna adventure the Falmar Knight. So right now our opponent really has to decide how they want to break our board. Yeah, he's just gonna block it in front of the Kenrith. I'm not gonna give it trample. Because there are more things I can do. I could have also just played the Selfless Savior, but it's literally just going to eat the neutralize. I think our opponent might... Okay, flash flying that one. And no other option otherwise. So again, we're racing in the air, so to speak. Our only I'm only concerned that our opponent's about to hit another removal spell, because if our opponent goes after Enforcer, then Kenrith, we have a problem. It's probably a reason why I should have gone for the second Enforcer instead. But I kind of want to leave the threat of Winota open, basically force them to keep mana up. Primal Might goes for that, sure. That's 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we have to let that hit. We're going to pass. We definitely... Goodness, we did not draw a card. So... Gain 5 life. Me. I'm the one gaining 5 life here. So we go down to 5, so we're kind of perilous at this point. Yeah, I'm not casting Falmar Knights at this point. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got our opponent concede. Basically, we had enough to regain the life again. So, yeah. And I probably would have just dropped the Selfless Savior to be the protector of Kenrith at that point. Okay, so we finally got one win. After close to 1.5 hours of tinkering. Well, sometimes that's how painful the process is. It's not the fault of the deck necessarily. All decks have to go through a birthing process. If you're... And most of the time for me, I'll be honest, I tend to do research and look up the net, see what are the decks that kind of work, then try to then use that as the basis. So that kind of cuts my research time in half. But we'll do this one more. We'll see if that's a fluke or not. But otherwise, we were able to answer an Ugin. We were able to answer some stuff. I'm actually surprised our opponent did not go for the Ugin again. So definitely I want to up the Kenrith count, I want to up the Hack Plus count. I want to drop the Knight count because the Knight synergy is kind of dead at this point. Falmar Knight I'm still willing to keep. So we have the one... Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Savai turn 1, Fabled Passage turn 2 if we don't draw anything else. So we're knocking on wood to hit the lantern. Knocking on wood to hit the lantern for the 4th turn. So no land yet. So Falmar Knight, Death Touch, Fabled Passage. Now this is the painful one. I need double black for this. Okay, it's Mutate. Oh wow, this is painful. We only need 1 red, so I'm gonna go for the black. I'm gonna go for black here. And we have the white anyway. So let's make sure we get... Ember Cleave's gonna be very late. Okay, we did hit the 4th land after all. I'm actually gonna play Swamp again. I'm gonna offer the trade. Opponent doesn't trade, so I'm gonna delay our opponent. Pop that one. Yeah, actually when I was talking about the decks, I literally forgot all about mutate. We need more spot removal. So our opponent's already stuck at that point, so okay, I think our opponent's on the back burner now, but yeah, there we go, quick concede. So we really have to focus on enabling Winota. So that means our 1-drops, our 2-drops. We had the standard bearer if our opponent somehow answered that. Yeah, so it's this one's turning out much better now. Do I want more responses? I kind of do, but the question becomes what as the response now. Like, if I want to add more removal, I really have to lean in black at this point, so we're kind of looking at cards like Heartless Accurate, Eliminate. And we're also note that we're doing a lot of this pre-Zendikar Rising, so I'm actually at the point where we probably can drop most of the knights. Like right now, we have a we do have a 2/3/4 Rimrock into Kuronos, but we know Winota. But we have all our mana, which is kind of important. Well, we might be missing a double black and double red, but I'm gonna keep this anyway. And depending on the situation, I might not even... Okay, we got standard bearer turn 2, so we'll play mountain. So I'm definitely gonna go for... Okay, this is mill. And Marco? Oddly enough, I can just swing and Rimrock again. But this is a mill deck. We're gonna see a Teferi's Tutelage right about now. So we need to clear this one off the board. Thankfully, I haven't seen any red yet. That's usually the source of... Okay, okay, those are good cards to hit. Yeah, we definitely have to still nuke that. Okay, since we're not playing anything at this point. Actually, I'm gonna swing first. Because our opponent could simply choose not to block. In which case, it gives me free reign to drop a Kuronos. Lock it in. And the interesting thing is, as long as we can resolve Kenrit, our opponent's helping us get stuff on the board. So, actually... Oh wait, yeah, I wasn't gonna be able to cast it anyway. I wasn't thinking. Oops. I should have played the Savai Triumph. Okay, at least we're milling lands. The Fairy's Tutelage number 2. The race is on, guys. I could use a few Banishing Lights here, but right about now. Okay, we lost our doggos. We're losing all the small stuff, but that's still not something to sneeze at. So I'm gonna play Kuronos now. Then next turn, we're gonna try to aim for a Kenrit. I'd really rather do it much later. Yeah, but this is too slow. Yep. Oh, our hand's been shown. They saw the Winota. In fact, I don't think they care anymore. They got the busted Teferi's Tutelage, and yeah, not having responses, not having answers. In this case, it's more of not being able to land a threat. I'm pretty sure our opponent left enough mana to drop a counter spells, but I'm gonna swing with Kuronos first. Gonna drop the Rimrock Knight. I might end up having to just Kenrit for Hack Toss. There's the Essence Scatter, so it's one counter spell. So... I'm actually gonna hold this back. Our opponent's playing black also, which signals that they might have removal. Probably doesn't matter at this point anyway. Okay, we lost our Enforcers. And also, the opponent having Essence Scatter means we are probably not going to resolve Kenrit anytime soon. At least that's why we have spells with Flash like the Standard Bearer, so it might convince our opponent to burn their counter now. They're down to 2 cards. Mystical Dispute. Okay, so they could still have a... They probably have an Essence Scatter. I don't think they have a negate. Oh, no. They might have an ops. They might still have a card draw spell. That's it. Brazen Borrower, of course. So... Wow. So, opponent's down to 1 card. So, we're kind of leaning on that one. I'm gonna drop the Kuronos first because our opponent saw it. No counter. We're going to drop a Murderous Rider so that if... Nope, we can't drop the Murderous Rider. Yeah, there's no way we're dropping... We're gonna drop a Good Boy. So we're gonna... Yeah, we're gonna see if this pans out. Opponent might... Okay, opponent's now digging for more action. We're down to less than 1/3 of our deck now. I kind of sometimes... No, Selfless Savior is honestly better in this case because Alseid requires mana. Yikes. And these are both odd. Yuck. So we lose that, but... We're gonna see if this somehow is fast enough. I sincerely doubt it. This could easily just be a heartless act. Yeah, they have removal. So it's a good thing I didn't try to cast Kenrit, but I don't think we're gonna make it at this point. Like, I would have to drop Kenrit. Turns it for his tutelage. Nope. Not fast enough. Good game. Yikes. We never got the damage through. So even as an aggro deck, even as an aggro deck, there's problems here. Like, I like the idea of having the Rimrock Knight. I like the idea of having the Falmar Knight because those are drops you can drop early to trigger Winota if you can. And drops you can hold late if the Winota plan is not live. In this last matchup, if I had Alpine Houndmaster, it probably would not have mattered that much. But yeah, the lack of interaction's really the problem here. I feel like I want to play Banishing Light, although that's... No, wait. There's another creature that I'd rather play. Zendikar Rising is coming up. They have the 3-mana white creature that you can exile a permanent, and they don't get it back. What they'll get back is just a counter with an XX creature that's based on the converted mana cost. So super questionable because of the lack of white. Yes, I really want to cut down the red now. Heck, I could actually just add more dogs at this case. Yeah, we need to ease up on the red, so the Embercleave plan is really messing us up here. Okay, this is better. We've been Hacktoss. So Fabled Gilded Goose again. Oh yeah, I did put 2 copies of Hacktoss, so we're probably just cut this down. I feel like... No, I don't feel like cutting it down to 1, but... Actually, there are other humans I want to consider. Kitesail Freebooter. It's a way to nuke our opponent's hand because there are a lot of non-creature spells we want to get rid of. There's the Teferi's Tutelage I mentioned, but there are also cards like an Ugin, say, for example. So yeah, we're gonna adjust that balance. We need to have more interaction. Next turn, I'm just gonna attack with Enforcer. Our opponent... Oh wow. Super early Luca. We don't have the Dire Tactics, which is a problem. At least we're not hitting an Ula mob. So what does our opponent get? Scavenging.
I have enhanced my tactics.
Oh, he's just exiled the top 3. Okay, so he's going for the exile plan. So this is literally just for value.
I will not stand in betrayal.
What did our opponent exile? Enclave and Vivian. Okay, so this is not a true Luca deck. They did hit something to mutate onto the Goose. They could also drop Scavenging Ooze, but more likely they're gonna just mutate on top of Goose. If I can hit Dartak... Oh no, they went for the Ooze. I guess they can make a token next turn, so what I can do is just swing with everything. Yeah, the lack of mana is an issue. We're gonna force them to concentrate their efforts. That's a mistake. Well, that said, our opponent's about to mutate this onto this, so who am I to say that? Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, actually that's not bad. Let's make the trade happen. Drop the Standard Bearer, draw a card which we really need. Okay, Falmar Knight, not a land. Getting closer though. If we can hit the land, I'm just dropping Winota like it's hot. Opponent's playing Luca Fair. I never thought I'd see that day. Okay. So... Okay. Opponent is probably likely to decide between mutating something up here. Yeah, where are the Dark Tactics, the Murderous Riders when we need it? I don't think they want more land. Oh, okay, they want more land. Sure, they can have more land. So... I need to reread this one. Tapped and attacking, so I get to decide who it attacks. Opponent's holding it back, so... You know what?
This isn't worth my...
So he can still cast a Bone Crusher Giant as a backup. Luca again. Definitely it's only the +1. Oh, they can just play this one first. They could also cast... They can also cast a Stomp Half. Yep, they cast a Stomp Half. Okay, so that's fine. So no Winota yet. Now I can take a risk by either cycling this one for a card or just dropping these two now. Because our opponent has a Clotis that's about to cast. We need to hit that land. And we still don't hit the land. Okay, so super unfortunate for us. Oh, opponent's getting so much advantage off this. I never thought I'd... Oh, it's super fair, Luca. Who would have thought? Okay, so here comes the Goose. Into a Caryatid. Into a Clotis, which is a big beater. Yeah, if they drop the Clotis now, we will literally need to hit another Dire Tactics. Yep. Oh, yeah, not enough. Okay, we hit that. So what do we need double of? Well... Generally black, if you ask me. So... I want to drop the Falmar Knight. Flash in the Standard Bearer. I could have also just cast this, but... Okay, opponent's now gonna start eating up our Enforcer, so... Well, we still have another one, but so much for protecting it. Now we have to keep protecting Luca. Which might still be a problem, because our opponent has a... Okay, Falmar... Okay, this one's gonna go. Wow. Opponent plays Rada, so has a live Plotus. Migratory Greathorn just to get even more beats in. Yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, this is a problem. We never got the setup. As in, like, we had a few early creatures, but they were all human. I like that. I still like General's Enforcer as an early drop, but a lot of the other ones are not. Okay, we'll take the hit. Opponent drops a Bone Crusher, sure. So we drop Standard Bearer. I don't think the Liliana package pans out, though I can also just blame it on the mana since we got so badly shafted on it. I'm gonna just attack with this anyway. Let's get one trick. So much for that trigger. Next turn we can drop a Kenrit at least, so that's another thing that can protect us. We still need to snipe the Greathorn. Opponent does not need mana, so I wonder why they did that. Vivian Monsters Advocate. Oh wow, the -2 is gonna be broke. It's gonna be backbreaking. Yeah, we're way behind here. I can't just play Kenrit, it does nothing. I can aim for an Ember Cleave. Oh, there's a Kolga too. So Kolga will fight Enforcer. Yeah, I'm gonna concede this one. We got stuck on mana for so long, it's not funny. We could have dropped a Winota a lot earlier. So... do I want to try the adventure version? That's probably for another time. You know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do one more. But yeah, I'm really curious how because unless you hit all those 1, 2, 3 stops, it's really not. Okay, so this one is better. We do have a turn 1 Selfless Savior. We just need 1 more mana for Winota. We can even luck it. If we luck out, we might even be able to just cast Hack Toss regularly. I would much rather have some of our other creatures. Yeah, we really have to get used to seeing turn 1 Gilded Goose. Okay. Opponent's probably just gonna cast a Greathorn. Yeah, if we can hit the Dart Tactics, I'm willing to take the 4 damage. Nope, we do hit a Murderous Rider, but not with the mana we have, so I'm gonna swing anyway. If we can hit 1 more Black Source, that's a problem also. I guess another thing we can do is just drop a lot of temples early, since we're not really casting anything early until turn 2. Let's add temples for the colors that we need the most. So definitely not swinging. I'm gonna play the Fabled Passage, pass. Creates a food token, which is both fine and scary. Because it's scary because our opponent could be dropping, say, a Kolga. This is 6 mana right now. Well, 7 mana actually. Ghidorah. Until you hit a non-permanent card. Okay. So it's spread out, so we might have to consider. It's a Starix, which he can't mutate onto. So this is, yeah, we're gonna take 6. We're gonna pause because I cannot afford to take another 6. We're gonna just Murderous Rider. Now, because our opponent's down to 1 card anyway. Now we're drawing everything. Now, another interesting we could have done also was, well, unfortunately I need to play both these lands. So I have to take the 9. which means Winota is on chump block, but unless I can gain life, we're dead anyway. You know what? Yeah, we're dead anyway. We have no way to gain life. So really, not enough interaction is my final verdict. So let's make some final changes here before I close this out. And I'll give those changes a try. First of all, it's really not a Knights deck anymore, so... Okay, let's cut the underperforming Knights. Order of Midnight's underperforming, Rimrock Knight's underperforming. We're gonna go black-white here. We can keep Haktos, we can keep Winota. Embercleave is great, but I feel like it's also underperforming. We're now in a state where we're not exactly keeping creatures on the board, so we have to just keep overloading them. So with that regard, I'll say the Life's Bounty. That gives us something to buff with. I'm gonna up the Dire Tactics even more, just so that we have even more removal. So between this, that's 8 pieces of removal. The Falmar Knight is still okay. Basically 4, 8, 12. Now our caveat is, what humans are we hitting? Another plan that could be done is we could shift more towards... Yeah, the problem is we don't have enough humans to hit. As in, like Linden? No, that just gains life. Lava Brink Venture, that's something that we can hit actually. It's also very annoying to remove in the right circumstances, so that's one thing we can do. Taranika, not so much. Kinda needs protection. Mangara, nice, but no place here. Mothra Supersonic Insect, considering none of these guys fly, it's a way to get them all back. Something to think about. Do I just put another Kenrit? Now, our top end is literally just on the 4 slot, so 6 cards here. So, you know what? Let's craft another Kenrit. Don't let it be said that I'm not devoted to this. So that said, we're now shifted really more towards white and black, so let's fix those lands. 4 Temple of Silence. Now sometimes you could, so we don't really need to cast Haktos, although that'd be nice, so we're aiming for this kind of mana build now. So it's unfortunately not so much a Knights deck anymore. The problem is, in trying to fit the Winota plan, all the Knights go. So you really have to decide from there. In fact, this original deck had 3 plans: 8 Knights, Winota, Adventures. All of them are pulling for the same resources. None of them quite fit. So I Falmar Knight, but if we don't hit mana, we're in trouble. And we need to hit the black also, so I can't exactly just sack the Fabled Passage. Let's mulligan this. Okay, Fabled Passage, Temple of Silence. I'm willing to keep this one. We still have the Dart Tactics, so I probably cut... one Murderous, right? No, let's cut the Kuranos. So we're searching for lands. Opponent on the Temple plan, this could easily be Adventures. Okay, we hit the Savai Triome, so we hit the Triome, we play the Alseid. Next turn, if we need to Dart Tactics, we Dart Tactics, we take the hit. Riddle form. We still hold up the Dart Tactics. I will... Actually, we can also just do the Murderous Rider now. So we have that as a plan. So let's assume our opponent's plan now is to drop a land, play a spell, cast Stormwing Entity. Or drop Sprite Dragon. Nope, there's the Crash Truce, so here comes the Stormwing Entity. So Considering our opponent needs to keep casting spells to buff this, I have to decide if I want to take the damage now. We're gonna snipe this now. We take less damage this way. And I get to decide to either Murderous Rider or Dire Tactics next turn. Opponent gets a good scry. So, took quite a bit of damage. But the interesting thing now is that if we draw any Winota, we're good. If not, I just apply this Murderous Riders. Opponent drops a Sprite Dragon. So, here comes... No shock, thank goodness. Okay, Fabled Passage. So, I guess we go for red. Now, my other concern is, do I want to just let the Sprite Dragon grow, or do I want to hit the Dire Tactics for the inevitable second Stormwing entity? Here comes the Frantic Inventory. Now, our opponent could still cast Stormwing Entity at this point. They've already cast one. So this way I only take 1 damage. That said, we really need to hit a Winota at this point. Scorching Dragonfire. Okay, so we take 2 damage instead. We could take 3 damage if our opponent decides to, they decided not to. So there we go. But that's it for our opponent's board for now. Another Alseid. Fabled Passage, cutting down the lands in our deck. We need probably get more black just to be safe. Now this is the part where I hope our opponent doesn't have Storm's... I sincerely doubt our opponent has Storm's Wrath. It kind of messes them up too. But I do have to just play the Murderous Rider instead. So at least if our opponent doesn't have anything to drop, we can just start landing things. However, our opponent's also frantic at this point. However, we need to hit that Winota. Op, okay, still digging. Okay, they like what they saw. Could be another draw spell. Nope, Sprite Dragon. Okay. Okay, we take the hit. Yeah, removal is very nice here. Okay, General's Enforcer. We can actually now start growing our board by taking out your Stormwing entity. So I'm gonna hold it back in case I need to cast Alseid. And we can kinda comfortably race at this moment. Opponent has a Stern Dismissal, so I can sack the Alseid just to blank that. I can... You know what? It goes back to our hand anyway, so it's not a big loss. It's not like General's Enforcer's protecting anything. So at least we build up a board with this state. Opponent is gonna snipe the Alseid. Yeah, they definitely protect that. Opponent can choose to not... No, they're going... Okay, double strike. So we take 8 damage. We gain back 4. And we can make our opponent concede by casting Dire Tactics now. So here, the Winota plan did not pan out, but we still But we still had the plan. And more importantly, we were able to respond to our opponent's plan. If our opponent's plan was more creature heavy, we'd probably be bumping creatures against each other. So, unless our opponent... No, our opponent's dead at this point. It doesn't matter which one they block. This is exactly 5 damage. Okay, Liliana Standard Bearer. Standard Bearer is still weird, but it's still a way to draw cards. And we're on the assumption that we're trading some of our early drops, so there you go. Yeah. So since we're not so all in on the plan, we need to have a contingency if the plan does not work. So you know what? I guess we have another time for one more game before we hit the 2-hour mark. Yeah, unfortunately I apologize. I really like the idea, but sometimes there's the concept and there's the practice. My practice clearly was very different from yours because you were so excited about it when you were typing this out. It made me believe too. Then reality struck. So sometimes it could be reality. It could also just be the meta game. So we have a Temple of Silence to draw into lands. We can at least Selfless Savior by time. However, I kind of wanted this to be black mana instead. We'll try anyway. Time's running short, so I'm okay with losing this one to Mana Screw. So if I really want to be able to cast the Profane Insight from Falmar Knight. Instead, we get a ton of Dart Tactics. So yeah, I'm probably gonna cut some of the mountains and replace them with even more temples. Well, on the bright side, 1, our opponent did not have a 1-2 plan, did not have an early plan, and 2, we can actually cast Profane Insight, so we kind of lucked out there. Opponent not doing anything for multiple turns. I'm really concerned. I think there's a General Enforcer, but wow, we're really not casting anything. Yeah, I'm gonna make one change to the mana base. We're gonna add... I don't feel like adding more temples. I think we can just leave the mana base as is. We wait for Zendikar Rising. That's when we add those lands. Our opponent literally played 4 forest. It really felt like mono or green. Except our opponent did nothing for 4 turns. I'm so concerned. What's in this deck? If we hit at least one more white or black source, I can either drop General's World Shaper. Oh no. Okay, this will be embarrassing if we lose. Okay, we hit Savite Triangles, that's not so embarrassing. If our opponent blocks, I will... If our opponent blocks, okay, it doesn't block, so... that. Play Selfless Savior. Okay, when it dies, return all land cards. What their opponent... Whenever it attacks, you may mill. Okay. So this is like a green self-mill. This could easily also just be the mono-green... Let's see what the next card is. This could easily just be the mono-green color deck. In which case, we're really leaning on just the Dart Tactics. So if we... I really want to drop Kenrit. There's a Balok Path Hunter. Okay. Yeah, so this is literally the... So we are going to hold back... okay, we'll take the 3 damage. Opponent mills 3 cards. I'm going to hold back the Falmar Knight now because I need to block these. Thank goodness we milled the Rabbit Bite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold back. Okay, I can't cast this because I need to cast this. Yeah, and the lack of humans is a concern. So we're actually going to be taking a lot more damage in the process. But at the bright side, this might discourage our opponent from swinging because we have Selfless Savior into Falmar Knight. I could have also done Alseid also into Falmar Knight as an option. But I need to hold up Dar Tactics. If I can get one more white or black source, that's fine. Another Balok Pack Hunter. Okay, so this becomes even bigger. Okay, sure. Oh no, this is the one that becomes bigger. Wait a minute. In each other creature. Okay. So resolve. Okay, good. We got rid of those. So we're gonna pass. Block. Block. Block to damage. Sack. Unfortunately, if you're using Rabbit Bite, it's all sorcery speed. So we get to take that out. It has trample though. So yeah, we're gonna go down, drop a lot of life in the process. You know what? Let's cast the Dart Tactics now. Let's keep it from growing any bigger. Take the hit. Okay, we hit the land. That's good news. I could actually just drop a Kenrit. I'm just not so certain what our opponent's possible removal spells are. Okay, we'll drop the planes first. So I guess I just drop Kenrit. Or otherwise I want to just drop the General's Enforcer into Alseid. And attack with the good boy because I'm probably gonna do the same trick with the Alseid instead. Opponents now has 7 mana. Yeah, we... The World Shaper only gets you lands back, so that's really not great. Maybe with Landfall, but that's another story. Elysian Caryatid. Okay, he's out of big... Kinda out of big guns, maybe? Prize Unicorn. So, I think our opponent can guess... Probably not gonna swing at this point. Yeah. So, we hit another Falmar Knight, so... So, I'm actually gonna wait. Because our opponent's going to swing with the Prize Unicorn, assuming that they're going to be able to... They're going to be able to get 4 damage through at least. So now... Wreck that consideration. If they don't attack with the Prize Unicorn, then I just start Tactics the Brontodon. Okay. They did and they passed, so... Yeah, we're gonna snipe the Brontodon. That's probably their last rare. Allosaurus... Yeah, that should be their last rare. At least we don't kill ourselves now. So we still need humans with General's Enforcer. My turn. Hit another land, so... I might actually... Okay, opponent looks like they're stuck. If they're not gonna swing, I might actually hold this back because I'm trying to remember if they have any other big guns. In fact, if they don't I could just start eating their graveyard. Rabbit Bite. Okay, that's fine. Still indestructible. More importantly, if our opponent swings, I can now just use the General's Enforcer to block. I'm still going to... Yeah, Selfless Savior, Alseid of Life's Bounty, protecting our board. Okay, opponent goes for that. So, now we wreck them. So now we are free to block anything. Kinda wish they had the Heroic Intervention. That's literally the one card that would protect them. So I'm okay with trading one Falmar Knight now. So in fact, that's what I'm gonna do. So pass, block, block. If they have a way to give trample, maybe that's a problem. I know they don't have a way to give indestructible. They could still have a way to fight, but at least we have extra backup there. Pump effect. Oh, trample might be an issue, but epic proportions. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh wow. Wait. Nope, that makes it 7. Okay, we're still alive, barely. So get a few more lands. So hold back for defense. And we're now going to start spamming Kenrit. Now this does not bode well for this deck if, even against this one, I'm still having a hard time. But I guess it's a way to say, don't disrespect the basic decks. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, next turn. Next, just attack with this. The next turn we can start returning creatures back. Yeah, so that's 3 of our opponent's rares. There's a Jungle Delver. Yeah, that will grow in time. So we're literally just buying back doggos. Hey, nothing. Oh wait, I forgot to use it. Okay, fine. Yeah, I forgot to. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. That might be the end of us. We could have gotten. We could have even gotten life back. So the interesting thing is, because of Kenrit, our opponent's just gonna unload everything here. My concern is the moment our opponent gets trampled. So this is now a 7/7. Probably will not swing though. I might actually use the time to tree. Try another Palmer Knight back. And let's draw a card. Gets another Alsate, so that's fine. If we can hit Winota, that would be really great. But right now we're doing just fine without her. And just cast the Falmar Knight regular. So opponent's probably wondering what we're exactly holding up. Though I probably could just be holding up life gain at this point. I could also start eating their graveyard too. So giving ourselves plenty of options is important. Opponent's really staring down Kenrit. Like, Kenrit was really a badass back in the days when he had Fires of Invention supporting him. Okay, opponent's now just growing this. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before we ping through our opponent. We could also just ruin their day by just casting the Murderous Rider, but I want to hold it for when, because they had the Epic Proportions blowout. We just lucked out that our opponent was shy by 1 damage. We could have lost that game. I'd be kicking myself really badly if that happened. We actually hit Hacktoss now, so okay, we'll cast him. We'll see which of these. So it's 2. So Caryatid and Mystic can block it. Another target creature, so none. Our Alsaids can't protect it. Oh, General's Enforcer protects it though. So we got that going. Just gonna swing with everything. Our opponent might just chump block the smaller ones. Pretty much the assumption that, oh, it's safe. Again, I'm still gonna hold the Murderous Rider until I see the absolute worst thing that could possibly be. Now, I might actually just have to kill this end of turn if our opponent does nothing, because, yeah, it's gonna get Ballot Pack Hunter. That by itself, it's fine. We'll leave it alone. Yeah, now that we... Actually, the Jungle Delver could not have blocked either. I could have just... Well, there's not an Ilias and Caryatid I have to worry about. Oops. I forgot. I always thought it was 2 because of how big it grew at this point. Oh, I spent quite a lot of time on this. And the opponent finally concedes. So, there we go. That's... We've taken a bit of a big journey. So, basically, this is my take. It still keeps part of the Knights, but it's really shifting more towards Winota. I feel like that when we get to Zendikar Rising, even more of the Knights are gonna go. We did get utility from the best Knight, which was Falmar Knight and Murderous Rider. So those are not so bad. And we've managed to adjust the mana base so that we are not hurting every time. We kind of are hurting for red, and we actually, well, we only had 3 mountains, so we drew two of them off the early, so that one was not too bad. So yeah, basically limiting our liabilities in our mana base was pretty much the way to go. And we had a lot of early drops that would trigger a Winota, so we kind of went all in on the Winota plan there. That said, what are the payoffs for Winota? It's literally just Hacktoss, Kenrit, and General's Enforcers. So, unless we get better humans in Zendikar Rising, as a payoff, this might not be so great. Although Winota into Winota is not so bad, because instead of an untapped Winota, you get a tapped and attacking Winota, which might work. So that's something to consider. But yeah, definitely have enough removal. Even the last few games, we needed to have removal early, or else we would never have survived to set up the board. And there we go. That's it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. If you have any decks you want to submit for me to take a look at, I'll be glad to take a look at them. It might take a while because I have to do more videos. Basically, I'm kind of backlogged on the updating the pre-cons, but I'll get them done maybe a little bit after Zendikar Rising comes out, so the data might be a bit irrelevant. So some changes might be left up to you as the viewer. But that's kind of the joy of it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Tim Sopcat, thank you for giving me an interesting exercise, interesting thought exercise. But a way to describe it is, it's like a plant. You can let it grow everywhere, but it will not grow well. For a plant to grow properly, for a tree to grow properly, you need to actually prune it. You have to prune the stuff that does not belong. And then you can get something that will work. Anyway, thank you very much. And thank you guys for watching too. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone.